Hello friends, we are sorry for that we have to come up with the recording version of this green talk because of some technical glitch. We welcome you all and thanks for all the support that you have been giving by encouraging us to visit us in this green talks. I also welcome architect Sandeep. He is very close to my heart and I'm very much inspired by him because he is one of the person who has been my great inspiration and contributor in my journey of panache. So I would like to introduce Sandeep sir. Sir, architect Sandeep sir is the president and CEO of SSA Architects. He is an USGBC lead accredited professional. He has a deep commitment towards sustainable development and is the founding member of IGBC and also chairman of IGBC Mumbai chapter. He is a patron of STBUH, the Council of Tall Building in Urban Habitat, whose head office is in Chicago, USA. He superheads SSA Architects with a team of 250 young, dedicated, committed professionals. And so it was great, like when I visited this time in Mumbai to see your extended office, the office that you have expanded, and it was great exactly to visit the office this time. And it was great to see the growth of SSA. With a diverse portfolio of SSA has to its numerous national and international awards and is one of the leading architectural full service firms in the country. The firm has covered almost 15 million square feet area of green footprint with vision to develop up to 30 million square feet within 2 years, including wide variety of such projects, townships, high-rise, malls, hotels and hospitals. He has built up specialization in designing and introducing the concept of new bus polycentric cities. The ethos of SSA can be summed up in three simple words: architecture and beyond. This is based on Sandeep Sir's belief that architecture cannot be limited to any style and encompassed. It has to be contextual, completely anchored in its program and style. The design has to create a meaning on site which is both deep and broad, where lives are influenced and behaviors shaped. Architecture always has to be versatile, organic, and attuned to the nature around it. It builds by people and for the people. For him, architecture is a comprehensive approach which begins the hard skills of design, which combines the hard skill of design and the soft skill of human connection and experience. In a nutshell, it's all about space, people, and happiness. Good evening, sir. I welcome you once again.
Good evening.
Exactly. We are taking a session wherein like we will be like taking smart city and the three pillars of sustainability, that is environment, society and economy. Sir, you have vast experience and have great intellectual thoughts and understanding. Were you inclined to design green projects from the very start?
Well, before I begin, let me first compliment your sincere efforts. I'm always overwhelmed looking at your enthusiasm, and this particular initiative is very, very nice initiative whereby you're calling all knowledge-worthy panelists, and I'm also honored to be here. So, compliments to you. Also, I always want to dedicate those to our Dr. P.C. Jain, our
Yes.
chairman, late Dr. P.C. Jain. He was close to all of our heart, and my particular association with him, likewise, was very, very close. So, just to give him that respect and a tribute, I would like to dedicate this session to him, and also acknowledge and remember our Raghu, who have been also a wonderful green initiator and a person with lots of enthusiasm, lots of commitment. I think all that efforts that we are taking, those two are watching it from there and they must be very happy looking at the way the green initiatives are growing in our country. So that was my first thing, which I feel that I should give a deep gratitude to them.
Yes.
And coming to your question, yes, let me quickly give you a story. It was almost 15 years back, I think, somewhere in 2004 or 5. Our first green seminar was arranged in Chennai, and there was a small newspaper ad. It was not an ad; it was a campaign. CII and IGBC wants to conduct awareness on green attributes, and I immediately got very excited with it, because in those days the CII headquarters at Hyderabad had got a LEED Platinum, and there was too much of a appreciation and a nice recognition of that particular project was all around. So as a young architect then, I mean, I'm young even today. So,
Yes.
so it was quite exciting to get invited to a couple of my senior colleagues, and I said, let's go and let's attend this particular session. And let me tell you, that session was so nice. Our Mr. Srinivas from the CII, he took a 1.5 day, and last session was question and answer, and there was a complete nice explanation about how do you capture all of these green attributes in your project, and how they can be captured in terms of its rating system, and how it is important, taking each and every aspect. So all of us as an architect, we always knew that green is something that is going to be always integrated in our project approach. But that kind of gave us a little bit more technical and a more appropriate way of looking at how do you capture those aspects in terms of its performance, in terms of its approach. And from then onwards, it kind of created a motivation, kind of created a direction, and we practically project from then onwards, irrespective of our clients wanting it to go for a rating system or not. We kind of put in our office that we'll ensure that it will be a green, So that's how the whole journey began. And today in my office, we have more than 20 IGBC AP, and we do that kind of a promotion in our office also, to make sure that everybody catches up with this.
Yeah, that's very true, sir. I also agree with you, and I would also like to share that Panache is exactly is the inspiration of Jain sir, and the session I started exactly is to give a tribute to him, because like he always wanted that the movement should go to the mass level, and like in the lockdown exactly, I was just thinking like whenever we meet in IGBC, it's only the consultants and the like high IQ people exactly coordinating and knowing what exactly is green. But if we want to reach to the masses, we have to simplify the language and like make people understand that yes, the way that many people are already doing is green, and this is the way, by doing simple things we can be like doing green things and adopt green practices. And you're very true. जब हम अपने ही ऑफिस में और अपने ही लोगों के साथ रात दिन जब ग्रीन की बात करते हैं, तो वी हैव टू लिव दैट policy and the thought, then only like exactly we are able to implement the things at the mass level. So I could understand that that event was the turn for you, and like you were inspired to have all your projects green. So
True.
as an architect, sir, you always take steps about how your new plan building would contribute in sustainable development. But how do you manage to live a sustainable life as an individual? What are your steps and principles?
Very good question. Very good question. Everything has to begin with you and within you. So I feel we as an Indian, all of us, we have that rich background of a cultural conservative approach. We are sustainable by our nature in our country. You go to any state, you go to any part of our country, you'll find that the sustainability is there in our DNA. So all of us are quite careful in terms of consumption, quite careful in terms of anything that we do when it comes to the pollution, also the recycling attitude, having that kind of a respect for the Mother Earth. And we have been living in a naturally ventilated and naturally lit environment. The mechanical devices are much less. So our dependency on those active tools for our built environment is as it is less. So that is first thing, which is a blessing. But what we do, so like if you will ask me, of course, everybody water is very important. And so water is being used very, very carefully. All the people, even the support staff which comes at home or home, we ensure that water is very, very judiciously used. All the fixtures are low flow fixtures. Try and see how you can minimize and optimize the use of the water. The recycling of water is there practically everywhere where I'm going, in terms of my project, in terms of my office, in my home. That's how it happens. Maximum daylight, that's what we always like to enjoy. The air conditioning is used very, very minimal, only when it is needed. In Mumbai, we have a good kind of a climate. So we also like to have a good naturally air atmosphere in our office and also in home. But in office, it doesn't become possible every time because lots of computers and we have a lot of situations. So there we land up using it. But again, we have a kind of a SSA green program where we also want it to be paperless. We want to make sure that our people do pulling. So we are encouraging the pulling so they don't come by own car. So four people are coming from one particular way. They will ensure they will come with a common medium and so on. So there's a complete detailed green program which is jotted down, and that is also monitored, and it's also been appreciated and admired, you know. And I can keep talking about it, but that's something that we follow.
Yes, sir, exactly. I have visited your office, and your office itself is an inspiration. The way exactly everything is designed, and the way the systems and the policies are framed. So that are really great, and I can understand that you are exactly living absolutely green principles. Uh, my next question is, sir, like मैं आपसे मिली थी when Kohinoor project was going on, and you had taken gold lead rating certification for that Kohinoor project in Kurla, I suppose. And at that time exactly, it was very inspiring and very new thing for me. And I was actually inspired by Mona ji, your sister-in-law, and Alpa ji also. And I actually got a lot of few tips for my life and the success also from Mona ji. So I always remember her whenever I'm talking about SSA. So that project, like I was exactly interacted and had was introduced to you. So what was the most challenging project to make that building a sustainable? Because the surrounding in that area was also a different challenge that was having. So what is the major challenge that you faced to make that building sustainable?
Well, Neetu, let me explain you. It's not only a building. Where you worked with us on a first project was a kind of a commercial mixed-use project, but that whole campus is green. It's a 42 acre of a land, which was earlier Premier Automobile land, which was acquired by Kohinoor Group, and we were the urban planners, architects for the entire development of 42 acre of a land. We also did a project management consultancy there. So every square foot which is there is green. So over a period of 8 years, we built almost 4.2 million square foot, which includes 2,500 apartments. There is an office, there is a retail mall, there is a American School Bombay. There are built to sit offices, and also there is a hospital, which is a first LEED Platinum hospital in Asia. There is a Kohinoor School. So all of these built environment are green there, and each one of them are IGBC. Earlier it was LEED because IGBC and LEED were together, so they were LEED Gold, and the hospital is LEED Platinum. So that whole campus is LEED and IGBC certified. Only thing we have not got done the township certified, which I am now planning to get it done. So yes, of course, that whole area was challenging, but that was a good opportunity for me because it was kind of a combination of a brownfield and a greenfield project, almost a 42 acre of a land with beautiful 944 trees. And that area was very challenging. It was kind of a saucer. It was a flood prone zone. There was no power supply. There was no water supply. There was no sewage disposal. Development of almost 4.2 million square foot, where we have apartments, we have mall, we have offices, we have hotel, we have school, and we have hospital. And each one of these buildings are IGBC, and in those areas, IGBC was with LEED. They are gold certified, and the hospital is a platinum certified. The entire land was a kind of a place where there was no water supply, no sewage disposal, no electrical supply. Beautiful 904 trees, So I thought it's a good approach. We ensured that all the rainwater is properly harvested. We got almost more than 48 green wells. All the land which was excavated for the purpose of foundation was refilled to make the road. So we had almost zero that went out of the site. And in those days, I'm talking about this story which is 14 years back, where the sewage treatment plant was not mandatory, WC was not mandatory, but we made those in compound, and the people are yet blessing. So every water is recycled, and also we have got a beautiful organic fields. So that was an opportunity where we had a brownfield and a greenfield kind of a combination, and we said, okay, let's try and make a sustainable city. So that project is called Kohinoor City. So it has almost all the necessary requirement. It's a walk to work. It has a school. It has a college. It has a hospital. It has a workplace. It has a club. So most of the people do not have to commute really, outside for something besides what they want. So it's kind of a self-sustainable development, and it's completely green in terms of its certification and in terms of its behavior also. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the behavior sort of means, like, can you elaborate?
Yeah. So So what happens now? Whenever I go there, I feel very, very nice and proud, because the way we have done it, it has been maintained that way. So the people are very judiciously using those OWC compost. Is been used to make their own paddy field. They're growing their own plants. They've got their own nursery. They've been getting award as a best society award in Eastern place. So that makes you feel very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that means like Kohinoor City is more of like a mini smart city, you can say. Mini smart city and mini green city.
Yeah.
Great,
probably
sir.
Yes. You're right.
Right. So that's amazing, and transplanting so many trees, it's really great. And I have seen the way exactly the complete SSA team was working there. All things were very systematically done, and every system was followed. It was in a very organized way. Exactly, everything was managed by SSA at that time. So it was great experience and learning experience for me also. So going to our next question, sir, as we are talking about the three pillars of sustainability, we say that environment, society, and economic are the three pillars of sustainability. How are they interdependent? And what you always suggest people on living a sustainable life, why balancing of these pillars are important? Is it really possible to practically balance them?
Absolutely. I mean, if you really go back and see, we are quite fortunate that our Indian architecture actually is pioneering the green practices. If you go back many, many years back, our Hawa Mahal, our step wells, the Indian architectural jali, the courtyard planning, the water bodies for evaporative cooling, our temple architecture, our fort architecture, they have been always based on these three pillars. The society was utilizing this built environment for the purpose of sustainability, where their dependency on the mechanical and artificial things was very less. And that's how they are serving the purpose of economy. That's why our people, that's why our economy is very strong. Even today, our 60% of the population area, but they are happy. You see, because they have that sustainability attitude in them. So I feel as an Indian, we have actually laid the principles for the globe as to how to live with the natural resources. So our care for the environment is there. Now it's in fact a challenge. I actually feel now we are going through that challenging era, and we should not forget those wonderful principles that our ancient gurus have laid down and get over influenced by the Western culture, and we should take them both. So as very correctly you said, sustainability, society, and economy, these are integral part. You cannot look at them in isolation. They have to go hand in hand. We have been doing that in earlier past, but we made a few mistakes in recent past years. We should be very careful enough now to improve on our mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and immediately correct them. And henceforth, as it is one of the initiative of IGBC also, we should ensure that our green footprint increases. The green footprint increases, automatically it respects the environment, society is happy, and economy comes with it. These are the integral part of each other. So they go hand in hand. That's what I feel.
So you have been passionate about sustainable development, and as you know, now we know that what was your U-turn and the main inspiration. So, what are the major things that you have learned from our past experiences, and what are the learning and sharings that you would like to share with the budding architects exactly, that basic principles to maintain and to implement the sustainability and green practices?
See, basically, a lot of time people make mistake. They feel sustainability is some kind of a tool that you can superimpose on any design. No, I would like to especially tell young architects, and I'm sure they know it. Sustainability is a part of a process. It is not something you can adapt it after your design process is over as a superficial addition to your design element. So what is the lessons that we learn, and what is that we know that it has to start from the beginning. So when you start developing your design, to also first question the design program. So in fact, now, I will tell you an interesting story. We were having a kind of a task force meeting with our chairman, Suresh ji, and our vice chairman, Gurmeet ji, to decide as to what should be the way forward after the lockdown. And we were what should be the principles. So I said that we should ensure that we build less, because first green to me is build less. So we should question ourselves, what is it required? How can we build optimum? One architect can design a 1,000-bedded hospital in, say, 4 lakh square foot. Another architect takes 5 lakh square foot. So how do we draw that line as to how much we require? That's number one. Number two, we should also look into an adaptive reuse, because there's so much that is already built. How do you make sure that, how do you make reuse of those? How do you also ensure that all those old structures are nicely not broken? They are again revitalized, they are retrofitted, and they're used. So these are the principles. Now it's a new normal. It's not only that you're talking about energy conservation, water conservation, indoor air quality. Yes, those are the things which now everybody knows, and everybody's quite competent enough to understand. And those bars are raising. But I feel your intelligent mind should work when you develop a design program.
Yes.
Have a comprehensive design workshop with all the stakeholders, which includes MEP engineer, structural engineer, stalwarts like you. You bring a lot of value to the thermal properties of the built environment, and so many wonderful initiatives have been taken by many like-minded people like you. So I feel a lot of collaborative workshops should take place before you design, not after you design. Design होने के बाद आप देखोगे कि अभी इसमें मैं कैसे sustainability लाऊं. So that's not a right thing.
Very good.
You should keep your targets set right from beginning, and then what you get is all passive planning. When your dependency on active planning is very less, that's where the whole globe is researching. And I think our India is also quite ahead in that particular learning curve. And I'm very glad today when I meet the young architects, they have got fairly good clarity about it, because when we graduated, sustainability word was not there. It was not there.
That's true.
But now they understand. So they know that this is one of the very important aspects, and it's a need of today. So I feel it has to be right from the beginning. When
That's
design
very
process
true.
begins.
Very true, sir. अभी in every session exactly हर सेशन का एक छोटा जिस्ट निकलता है, तो आपके सेशन से ये बहुत बड़ा जिस्ट ये निकलता है कि जितना चाहिए उतना ही बनाओ and उतना ही डिजाइन करो. So that is a very big thing and very big teaching that you are giving all of us, and probably many other architects who are looking to this recording, exactly they will understand that this is a very important point. And we should like as an architect should propose to the client that कम बनाना है, जितना जरूरत है उतना बनाना is also a part of sustainability. So
I would like to speak a little more on this. There's a famous architect called Mies van der Rohe. I'm personally a very big fan of him. He had the phrase called less is more. Now everybody knows less is more. So when you say less is more, that doesn't mean you'll compromise on quality. That doesn't mean you'll compromise on output or the efficiency, but you have an art to get more out of doing less. So it's a very beautiful approach, So that is a need of today. Every square foot, as I said, you should question yourself, is it required? If it
Yes.
is required, then only you build it. That's it.
Yeah. Very nice, sir. Very nice thought. Uh, Now, exactly, sir, like as I see you as very thoughtful and very innovative, practical approach. Uh, and you're very open to new technologies and concept. You are from Mumbai, and which is very dense in metro city and having dense populace. So you too have faced this COVID times, which has proved to be like nightmare. जिसने ना मुंबई की चलती हुई रफ्तार को रोक दिया है. So after this COVID, what innovation in technology and design you see the need is there, and incorporation in project level पे हम लोग क्या incorporate कर सकते हैं? And like you are exactly into urban planning, and planning of cities is also one of your passion. So what future you see for sustainable urban planning perspective? What suggestion you have for upcoming smart cities after this COVID, like including this COVID situation also?
Very, very good question. I would say, irrespective of COVID, the situation has not changed. COVID has actually put the magnifying glass on these aspects. These aspects were
Yes.
always there, and COVID has actually made people realize. You see, people have now realized that it's not important only to have your home safe, your society safe, but it's also important because if anybody is unsafe in city, it's going to impact you. So that inclusiveness, that respect for the neighbors, that respect for the people who are living in an unhygienic condition, and that concern has now awakened everybody, because this particular pandemic does not discriminate you are rich or poor, you are tall or no male or female gender. It's global. So it's very important that the entire cities and the built environment has to be safe and hygienic. So what I would say in future, that day Sadhguruji said when he had an interaction with the developers, why are you building like this? Where I come to a city, I see both sides there is a traffic. Some people are going from here to there. Some people are going from there to there. Why are they going? Why can't they just be there where they are and work?
Yeah.
Why don't you decide some strategy where people will have to commute less? So we call Neetu like a 1 square kilometer city. तो हमारा अभी नया मिशन है कि ऐसे टाइप का polycentric city बनाएंगे. Earlier cities were monocentric. So monocentric means there is a town center, where there is a CBD, where offices, so everybody will travel there. So there is a town center, then there is a neighborhood, and there is a suburb.
Yeah.
So suburb kept on extending. So people distances to come going more. So now we will create more CBDs. So it is called polycentric cities. So anybody should not be prone to travel more than 3 kilometers. Maybe it's his office, school, college, playfield, entertainment, restauranting, anything. So more than 3 kilometers, he will have everything that is needed for him. So people's commuting exercise will come down. People can even pedestrianize. They will walk and they will go to their work. They'll go to all the necessary things. So you will have multiple centers in the city which are self-sufficient. People are also calling it as a TOD, transit-oriented destination. So that is a future, and some of the cities in the world, like Toronto city, the Barcelona city, Tokyo city, they are following it up in a very nice way. Where they are ensuring that city will be very green and city will be very smart, is self-sustainable. That is what is a new thing, and that's what we are trying to exercise in a city like Mumbai, wherever it is possible for us. But I would advocate that new 200 smart cities which are going to come, they should follow this particular principle. And I've also requested our IGBC senior think tank that we should submit a white paper to urban development of our country. This should be the approach. We'll really keep our new cities sustainable for hundreds of years. You don't have to use any kind of a private or public transport beyond a particular limit, and that's what I feel is a new normal, and that should be the new approach, where you create a polycentric development is what I would like to advocate.
So that's a very good concept. Like अगर ऐसा होता है तो मुंबई में exactly जो ये traffic jam है, pollution है, all these things will be sorted out. तो but sir एक चीज मैं गिफ्ट सिटी, जैसे मैंने देखा है गिफ्ट सिटी, आई हैव विजिटेड गिफ्ट सिटी, तो वहां पे मैंने देखा है कि दे हैव अ शॉपिंग सेंटर आल्सो, दे हैव अ स्कूल आल्सो, कॉलेज आल्सो, and offices also. But I was just thinking, for example, like DPS is there, like any particular brand of school is there. So like, uh, and I want to study only in DPS. So like, अगर इस तरह का कुछ है, तो DPS cannot be into like no like many places in a city. तो वो चीज मेरे को बहुत, जब से गिफ्ट सिटी देखा ना, और ये स्मार्ट सिटी का चल रहा है कि लाइक हमको ये ट्रांजिट ओरिएंटेड सिटीज होनी चाहिए, तो वो एक आता है कि लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव माय जॉब इनटू टीसीएस. नाउ टीसीएस का जो ऑफिस है, मे बी इट्स नॉट इन माय, मतलब मेरे एरिया के अंदर नहीं है, तो ऑब्वियसली आई हैव टू ट्रैवल. ये मतलब जो ब्रांड्स, जो रेप्लिकेशन ऑफ ब्रांड्स है, वो कैसे पॉसिबल होगा?
Very good question. Very, very good. I'll explain you, Nitu, how it will happen. See, basically, आप एक बात ध्यान में रखिए, whereas the education policy. So now there will be an EP, that is a national education policy. The national education policy over a period of next 5 to 10 years bring the education pattern on a level field. Craving of going to a particular stream of a schooling which is outside that 3 kilometer, fine. But those people will be 10%, 20% for your basic needs. Forget about your workplace. Workplace, if you are wanting to go out, fine, no worries. But at least more than 50% are doing a support service. The people like who are doing a support service where they are not actually like, you know, very big corporates, they will be moving into that. So you will at least not eliminate, but you will minimize the travel of the people going. Today, what is happening? Somebody, western suburb deep, is working in the center city of Mumbai. And so many people have to commute because they don't have any such facility. People are traveling even for entertainment. People are traveling even for, you know, and to a city like Mumbai, like we have a 1.3 million population. Can you imagine even 10% of the people start moving here and there, so much of a fuel emission. And if you develop this kind of a concept, if you are able to put a brake on at least 50 to 60% of people, you have solved a big thing.
Yes.
And when you are especially designing a new cities, you can very well plan and you can see the demographics, what is required. You can do the density analysis. So you will get commute out of those polycentric nucleuses, but that commuting will be more optimized. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, that's true. Commission will be definitely restricted, but what else, like the main crux that you think that a polycentric city should consist of, like any in designer's perspective or any other innovative thing you think that this is what a polycentric center, this is a wide concept that education भी होना चाहिए, offices भी होना चाहिए, shopping center भी होना चाहिए, but इसके अलावा आपको ऐसा इनोवेशन इसके अंदर और क्या चीज लगता है डिजाइनिंग के अलावा कि ये सिटी के अंदर वी शुड हैव दैट, एंड दैट विल मेक इट मोर सस्टेनेबल? एक तो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कम होगा, कमीशन कम होगा, तो उसकी वजह से जो पोल्यूशन है वो सारा चीज कम होगा. एंड इसके अलावा एनी अदर इनोवेटिव थिंग दैट यू वांट थिंक कि इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हैं?
See, I'll tell you, one more thing you should keep it in mind. I'm now talking about the new cities, okay? I'm not talking about the existing cities.
Yeah.
See, these new cities will be developed. Who will come there? The people from rural area will come there.
Yeah.
You understand that? And some of the people who are sitting in a megapolis will go there. So, of a population who have that mindset, they don't have any prerequisite like us. You know, we are.
Sir, आपकी आवाज में
these cities you are trying to bring the people. Yeah, so these cities, what I'm saying, can you hear me now?
Sir, आ रहा, बीच में काफी चला जाता है आवाज, अभी आ रहा है.
I hear you very clearly, absolutely clear and loud. So, so what I was trying to tell you, Nitu, that these cities will be accommodated by people who will come from rural areas. Okay, they are the new migrants. They would have otherwise come to a megapolis. They will be there. So they will not have any such prerequisite brand perception or a brand loyalty. They will be happy if all the things are given to them in a nice manner, and they will. Now, if you're talking about the innovativeness, now it's all about the connectivity. You have to ensure that all built and connected through a digital connectivity. So people will now learn how to work from home. People will now learn how to work from distance. people
Yes.
will want to reduce. So the innovative thing is to create every space. Now, newer societies we are designing, we are creating even landscape spaces where there is a connectivity. We are
Yes.
creating the lobby where people can create a pod and call for their business colleague and do a business meeting. We are creating the amenities where people can start, so people's working style is going to change. If you provide ease for a people to work from home and work from their colony, from their complexes, that will also add a huge amount of relaxation for the fuel emission and also for the city's more green behavior. So
Yeah.
that is what I feel from the innovation point of view. Of course, as you said, you create a bicycling, you create more of a healthy features where people will also be fit and healthy, and they will be more in touch with the nature. You should bring people outside their built environment, keep them more in the contact of nature. So these kind of innovative features we are already adopting, and people are liking it. Most of the people are liking working outdoor as long as it is protected from the humidity and the direct sunlight, etc. So people are doing a lot of research. How do you create those biophilic characteristics and create a working space and create? I think these kind of innovative features can be adapted where people will enjoy indoor-outdoor kind of an environment. That's how we lived earlier and create a more contemporary solution of those basic principles.
Yeah, so that's very true. Definitely, like it will be a very innovative thing if we can have a polycentric city concept being adopted, and especially in the new cities. But like in the existing city, what are the major challenges and restrictions you see?
See, existing city will have to be replanned. Existing cities step by step, sector by sector. Like in a city like Mumbai, we have 221 wards. So we are trying to see, we will study the problems in each ward because solution is not generic. So each ward wise, we are going to adapt the solutions. The idea is to first create a hygienic living conditions. We have some problem where the basic living conditions are unhygienic. There are some kind of unprecedented encroachments on the public infrastructure. So this problem has to be solved in a very careful manner. It's a very complex problem. So we have to slowly and steadily rebuild what we call as urban renewal. So urban renewal में हमको इस सब चीज को redevelop करना पड़ेगा और redevelop हमको careful रहना पड़ेगा. So densification, matching the infrastructure with the population, ensuring that there is a per capita green space is proper. So all of these things are part of urban planning principle. Our government and our municipality is doing a good job by laying a good rules and regulation, but now it's up to us as an architect and urban planners that we enforce those ideas in our actions. There are some political uh, 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 kind of which also lie with these thoughts. But now I think due to this pandemic situation, so I personally I'm very optimistic that cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore will be nicely redeveloped, and you'll find in another 5 to 8 years this will be clean, hygienic, decongested. We'll have a proper areas for the migrants coming to our cities, labor camps, affordable housing, etc. So now, just to tell you, for Mumbai, there is another equivalent of Mumbai is being planned.
Okay.
So we are hoping that in another 5 to 10 years, that Mumbai around the Mumbai is developed. So people from here will go there with a good transportation system. So automatically the pressure will be reduced and it will be nice.
That's true because especially like people love Mumbai also. They don't want to leave Mumbai, but then they want, they feel that traffic definitely is a big hassle to live in Mumbai. So they are with the dual minds. So if we can do something like that, and you architects are like, I think you have a lot of creativity. And initially, when I started my career, I was not knowing any architect. So my family also, I've not seen any architect because in my times, architecture profession was not in that go. So like after coming into this business, as I'm actually meeting many architects, and now actually I'm surrounded with architects, so I have started respecting them so much, because they have a so different sort of thinking and so creativity, and that can be, they are exactly creators, you know, like भगवान ने ऊपर से आदमी लोगों को बनाया, बट आदमी लोगों के लिए सब कुछ आर्किटेक्ट इतना अच्छे से बना सकते हैं. तो that sort of respect I have for them. And ये जो मुंबई वाला बात है, अगर लाइक इस तरह से अगर हम और भी सिटीज के अंदर, मोस्टली ये चीजें और भी आर्किटेक्ट्स और सिटीज में भी शायद सोची जा रही होंगी. मुंबई में आर यू इन्वॉल्व इनटू दिस अर्बन रिन्यूएबल थिंग directly or indirectly?
Yes, yes. Yes. We are fully involved as a private practitioner. I'm also on an advisory board for several our own associations. We have a PIETA, which is called Practicing Engineering and Architects. Of course, I mentioned CTBH India chapter is doing a lot of efforts on that. So we have several forums and platforms through which we have an interaction with the policymakers. We also have an interaction with the developers. We also have an interaction with the community, and we conduct those kind of knowledge exchange, brainstorming sessions, and we are together. There are not only me, but there are so many senior architects, senior planners. They have been coming up together to put up a white paper, because all of us are concerned for our life. So it's becoming inclusive now, and there has been quite amount of a good quality interaction taking place, and that's what was incorporated in policy also. The latest policy which has come out is to great extent inclusive, because all of us, we participated to talk with the policymakers to ensure that this chapter included. You know, we have a chairman of a SOCHM, Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani. We have a CREDI, we have a NERETCO, we have a MCHI. So the builders associations are also having a wonderful leadership, and there's an interaction between architects association, urban planners association. So I think it's a good time where people are talking to each other, brainstorming, debating, and then the solutions are coming out of it.
Yes, sir, because this
So those
idea,
will be surely implemented,
yeah,
you know.
या ये आइडिया जो है ना अर्बन, बिकॉज जो आपने बताया ना कि लाइक हर एक वर्ड को एक अलग तरीके से देखना, दिस इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट थॉट, बिकॉज आप एक ही तरह की चीज एग्जिस्टिंग सिटी के अंदर इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर सकते. तो अगर हर एक वार्ड की रिक्वायरमेंट और वहां पे जो एग्जिस्ट करता है उसको एक कस्टमाइज्ड देना, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और अगर ये अगर इस तरह का सारा सभी सिटीज में अगर रेप्लिकेट कर सके, तो इट विल बी लाइक इंडिया एक बहुत अलग मुकाम पे होगी. आपने सर इंटरनेशनल भी काम किया है ना, लाइक यू हैव डन इंटरनेशनल प्रोजेक्ट्स आल्सो.
Yes. We worked in western part of USA. We worked West Coast, and we also worked in Dubai. We worked a bit in UK, but I had an opportunity to work on a healthcare and an education project in California. We worked also in Dubai when Dubai was really going full-fledged from 2001 to 2008. So we learned a lot, you know, because we worked with the best stalwarts, good construction companies, good project management consultants, good architectural firms. So collaboration always makes you more strong, and we strongly believe in collaboration. So I'm blessed to work with one of the top masters in the world, and they enjoyed working with us. We learned a lot from them. So that also was a quite a pleasureful exercise, and we are yet working in association with international multidisciplinary firms, and that is giving us a lot of insights about the latest trends, and also it keeps us in sync with the time.
तो वहां पे जो अपने उसमें आपकी एक मेजर लर्निंग और डिफरेंस जो आपको पता लगा कि वहां का जो कल्चर है या वहां के डिजाइनिंग एस्पेक्ट और यहाँ पे हम जब काम करते हैं और यहाँ का डिजाइनिंग एस्पेक्ट में कहाँ पे आपको मेजर डिफरेंस फील हुआ, और क्या ऐसी लर्निंग आपकी रही वहां पे काम करके जो आप यहाँ पे भी दूसरे आर्किटेक्ट्स के साथ शेयर करना चाहेंगे?
So this is again a very good question. You know, I would say that the IQ and the intellectual level of our Indian professionals is at par, rather ahead of the international people.
Oh.
But one absolutely, there are no two thoughts about it. That's why you see the Indian
Yes.
stalwarts are topping the Google and
Yeah.
Microsoft and whichever
Yeah.
the big fives of the world are being headed by the Indian leadership. So only one thing where we need to catch up is a discipline, a very systematic, scientific, professional approach. What I have found while I was working on this project, they spend a lot of time before the project begins. You know, they would not start the project unless the project feasibility, project design program, project's validity, interaction with the people is getting done. So they spend huge amount of time in research analysis. And after of all in our go-getters, so we believe in start, you know, and we work hard.
Yes.
But I feel somewhere that pre-project and research and that validation, we are slightly lacking in that. So I keep telling we should adopt that kind of attitude in us. So that's one thing I've seen. Internationally, they will not begin with anything unless it is financially validated. It is validated from all parameters.
Very nice.
So that's one thing where we need to catch up. Yeah.
ये बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है सर, बिकॉज हम लोग का सबका एटीट्यूड कैसा होता है कि बस जल्दी से कर देना है जल्दी खत्म कर देना है. आपने स्टार्ट तो लेट किया है. हम लोग एग्जैक्टली जैसे एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं ना अभी प्रोजेक्ट, तो हम भी ये फेस करते हैं. जैसे वो पीओ आने में टाइम लग रहा है, पीओ के बाद ये टर्म्स आने में टाइम लग रहा है, तो सारी देर हो रही है, फिर वो खत्म तो अभी जल्दी खत्म कर दो, बारिश आने वाली है, खत्म कर दो. तो वहां पे लाइक इट बिकम्स कि पूरा जब तक क्योरिंग नहीं होगा तब तक वी कैन नॉट टेक द नेक्स्ट स्टेप. सो दैट इज वेरी ट्रू. वी ऑल नीड टू लर्न दिस. सो आज के कम्युनिकेशन से बहुत सारी अच्छी चीजें हमने सीखी और समझी.
See, I say we work with the flow, you know.
Yeah.
So work with the flow is also a good attitude. Of course, that's why we are very positive, we are very optimistic. That's one of the very good aspect we have.
Yeah.
We added with the proper analysis and research, we will go yet ahead, you know, in terms of our achievement and in terms of our results so I think that is one thing which I have observed when I work with international clients or international professionals.
Very nice, sir. The communication with you has been very nice, and I am sure the audience has learned a lot from your communication and conversation, and which I could take out is one is like very good point that जितना चाहिए उतना ही बनाओ, and वो एक क्रक्स है सस्टेनेबिलिटी का. एंड वो अगर उस पॉइंट पे अगर हम आते हैं ना, तो हमारे जो तीनों पिलर्स हैं वो अपने आप बैलेंस हो जाते हैं. एंड अनदर इज लाइक डिसिप्लिन, बिकॉज ये लाइफ के लिए एग्जैक्टली इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि अगर हम थोड़ा सा डिसिप्लिन और थोड़ा सा कुछ भी काम करें, लाइक इट गोज विथ एवरीथिंग. कुछ भी काम कर रहे हैं, अगर हम थोड़ा सा रिसर्च और उसके बारे में और ज्यादा अगर थॉटफुल होके और फिर अगर हम काम करते हैं, तो थिंग्स कैन एक्चुअली बी वेरी नाइस एंड वी कैन एग्जैक्टली एक्सेल. तो बहुत अच्छा आपके साथ.
That's true. I'm very glad. Yeah, I'm very glad that you got the right point, which I'm trying to advocate everywhere. Less is more. You know, it's very important for us in future.
Yes.
And you know, there has to be an attitude to prepare a white paper for every initiative. You know, that is very important. So you first prepare a synopsis or a white paper where everybody understands what is this initiative, what is the objective of this initiative, can it fail? You have to do the failure analysis, you have to do the stress analysis, you have to do the success analysis. Then once you begin, you're not looking behind, you're just going ahead with the success, and you will then achieve more efficiency, you'll achieve more better output of it. You know, so I think we all understand it. Now we need to adapt it. That's very important.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed. And एक क्वेश्चन लास्ट मेरे को आपसे ये पूछना है सर, कि आप जो अभी भी एकदम यंग दिखते हैं, उसके पीछे का राज क्या है?
you have made my day. Actually, I must say. Okay. Like, kuch nahi, I think just I think when you keep yourself happy with what you're doing, that actually I feel enjoyment is directly related with your degenerating process, and your youngness in your heart and mind and heart will reflect in your actions, and you can see that with many people. I mean, it is with you also. It is with many people. Yeah. So you are no different from there. You can see our Suresh Saab, our
Yeah,
chairman, even our coach
that's
there,
true.
that energy, that's energy, enthusiasm, and your passion. And when you like what you do,
Yes.
you are naturally happy in your life. And when you are naturally happy in your life, that will reflect in your actions, and that also stops your, aging process, or it keeps you at least young in mind and heart. I
Yeah.
don't know how it remains in appearance, but it keeps you young in
Yeah.
mind and heart.
And you
So I
have nice people
feel
around you,
that's
I
important.
see. You have
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
people around you, like Alpal ji,
yes,
Mona ji, and your smart team.
true, true. Yeah. I must say, yes, I'm blessed. I'm blessed with fantastic team,
Yeah.
and all of these. See, in our organization, let me tell you, we built it from bottom. We all have built it within. So
Hmm.
all of us are with each other more than 20 years. So
Hmm.
there is too much of a kind of a love, bonding, respect, and that actually is helping us. So
Yeah.
I'm truly blessed to have a fantastic team.
Yes, that's very
Yes,
important.
nothing can be done unless you have a good team and a good like
That's very true. That's very
around you. Yeah, that's true.
so.
True.
So thanks a lot for being with us, sir. And I really, you'll have to excuse me because because of the technical glitch, we cannot go live. But we have done the recording, and now itself we'll be putting the recording, and we have given a message also, and said sorry to our audience also that after some time we'll be giving the recording to them because many people are longing to see your communication with us. So this was I'm really helpless for this. So once again, sorry, and thanks a lot for being with us. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's absolutely no need to say sorry, because I think it's a good initiative, and we have made a good utilization of our time, done this session, and I'm very glad that I could make it. And once again, lots of compliments for. I personally enjoyed this talk, and I hope there are some few messages I could give through our question and answers. And it's always pleasure to discuss the Green Talks, especially. So,
Yeah.
so thank you very much, and wish you the best. You must continue this initiative for a longer time to capture best of the best people. Your
Thank you.
show. So best wishes for you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Namaste.
Thank you.